Hi, welcome to NowUC News. I'm Matt Nicoletti.
And I'm Jack Howard.
On today's program, parking fees causing financial stress for students, high-rise development changing the face of the capital, and Canberrans giving coffee to those in need.
First up, last financial year, more than $500,000 in parking fines were issued at the University of Canberra. This is causing strain on already stressed out university students due to the limited number of car spaces available. J. Ismay reports.
For many University of Canberra students, these yellow envelopes can come at a great cost.
The parking situation here at UC is a shambles, really. I've had hundreds of students come up to me and basically complain that there isn't enough parking, that they're paying too much in fines because they can't park. We've had students basically almost fail a unit because they couldn't get an adequate car park at UC. It's been absolutely terrible.
Last year, students and staff were forced to pay more than $500,000 in parking fines. The university says there's ample parking available, but a lack of car parks in peak periods mean many are forced to park illegally just to make it to class on time. Welfare Officer Terry Watson has been petitioning campus administration for a change. Students can buy an annual parking permit for $350, but that won't guarantee them a spot as more than 16,000 students jostle for 3,500 car spaces.
The fines range from anywhere between $100 to almost $250 depending on the different offence you commit. So it can be anything between not parking in a proper car park, it can be overstaying a timed car park, it can be literally parking in a no parking zone like out the front of Cooper Lodge, for example.
For the thousands of students who live on campus, the lack of parking is not just a financial issue, but a serious safety issue too.
So students were used to being able to park close to their building, they were used to having it as quite an affordable case, and now what's happened in the last sort of 12 months is that it's gone from having accessible parking right through to where they have to park quite far away from the building, and there's limited car parking and people are getting fined.
The university says parking is managed by the ACT government, however it is producing an additional overflow parking site. Until then, students will continue to risk big fines to get to class on time or to park safely near their home on campus. J. Ismay, NowUC News.
High-rise apartment buildings are the new trend in the ACT property market. However, there are concerns that this trend is against community wishes and is creating an oversupply of unwanted apartments. Nick Ames has the story.
Gungahlin has emerged as one of the fastest growing areas of Canberra in recent years, and as such the Gungahlin town centre has become a hive of construction. However, high-rise residential developments on the edge of the town centre have drawn concern from the local community.
You know, they're all done as separate projects and separate consultations. You never seem to see a big picture, and that's been one of our complaints, that there hasn't been a master plan driving the agenda.
The Gungahlin Community Council has been frustrated by the lack of a clear vision from the ACT government about the long-term plan for the region's town centre. The council says the site of one project in particular, the Gungahlin Infinity Towers, was originally designed for offices, but an inconsistency in the planning regulations allowed the 22-storey development to be approved.
The whole redevelopment of that site around residential isn't really consistent with the plan for the town centre, which then begs the question, why isn't there a master plan for all of the town centres?
LJ Hooker representative Andrew Ligdopoulos says the increased variety in residential and mixed-use developments will meet the growing demand for property in the area.
Currently the vacancy factor all across Canberra is as low as it's ever been in terms of finished stock. Over time, supply and demand changes, nothing stays stagnant forever, but currently, there is a demand for stock, and especially Gungahlin. Gungahlin is very popular in terms of apartment living.
Ligdopoulos says the rise in apartment living is a natural evolution of the ACT property market, based on the changing needs of the population.
A lot of people's lifestyles have changed. I guess their lifestyle demands them doing other things other than sort of spending time in gardens and having open space. So apartments are sort of catered for that owner-occupier market.
With further apartment demand expected on the back of light rail, it is now up to the ACT government to develop a greater vision for the town centre, having not produced a planning report for the area since 2010. Nick Ames reporting for NowUC News.
Australia's celebration of spring has come and gone, with the annual Floriade Flower Festival coming to an end. It's the largest festival of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere. Lewis Haskey reports.
The wet weather hasn't been enough to keep away the hundreds of thousands who headed to the Commonwealth Park for the annual Floriade Flower Festival. This year's theme for the month-long event is Life in Bloom. More than 1 million plants and more than 200 volunteers have been used to make up this year's festival, which hope to attract close to 500,000 visitors.
I've been volunteering for about 5 years now, and it's a wonderful experience. I enjoy the flowers. I enjoy helping people coming up and asking questions and try and solve some of their questions for them. I highly recommend anybody who has a free afternoon to come along and enjoy a wonderful display of floriades.
Besides the abundance of flowers, this year's event includes live musical acts and street performers, as well as a kids' corner and rides for the family, including its now iconic Ferris wheel. This year's been the first time the festival has had to close its gates to the public due to safety concerns surrounding the wet weather. However, many are still labelling this year's event as a success.
Considering the wet weather, it's not been too bad overall. We've had some really good days, we've had some absolutely shocking ones, but overall it's actually not too bad. Closed for 2 days, but there's not much nothing to do to avoid that.
The festival has been held here at the Commonwealth Park for the past 29 years, but with the ACT government's tenure on the land set to expire at the end of the year, concerns have been raised over the future of the event. One of the options going forward is the possible relocation of the event into Glebe Park within the city CBD. However, the festival has implemented a number of new features in a bid to reduce its impact on the park.
We've got 192 Strathair portable flower beds which were dropped into the site. So these enable us to shine a light on innovation within gardening and gardening within any space, as well as our designed dug garden beds, 14 of those. These planter boxes form a beautiful feature garden right in the middle of Floriade.
This year's festival runs from the 17th of September through to the 16th of October. Lewis Haskew, NowUC News.
An increasing number of movies and video games based on the stories of comic characters has seen the comic book industry reinvigorated. Reporter Sian Helmore has more.
Once considered a dying industry, comic books are making a comeback. The manager of one comic book store in Canberra says that the new films have introduced new characters and concepts to the public and are helping turn his business around.
You give them something like Deadpool, who's been around in the comics for 25 years, but the majority of people have never even seen him before. And all of a sudden people are excited and they're like, I didn't know comics did that, you know, and they come in and they look for that sort of thing.
The revival is being led by people's interest in the merchandise associated with the films.
Deadpool's a perfect example. Harley Quinn's another example. We could have been selling merchandise hand over fist for decades. It's not until they made a movie that the company started producing, you know, the coffee mugs with Deadpool's logo on them and the Harley Quinn necklaces and all of those things. Now they're everywhere.
With many comics gaining more popularity through video games and movies, the opposite is also occurring, with many video games and TV shows gaining their own spin-off comics.
Every medium has to play their own strengths. You know, movies that show don't tell, games that do don't show. And when people forget that and they try to play exactly to the story, you realize the weakness of each medium to exploit the other.
These multi-platform stories are introducing what was once considered an outdated medium to new audiences. Sian Helmore, NowUC News.
Basketball fans from all around Canberra were out in force as the 2016 Premier 1 finals were held in front of a packed house at Belconnen Stadium. James Coman reports.
Belconnen Stadium was full to the brim as the winners of the 2016 Premier 1 basketball competition were decided. It was the Tuggeranong Vikings who stole the show, as they took out the men's competition for the second year running as they beat arch rivals West Belconnen 90-79. The Vikings started their title defence strong as they came out and recorded 27 points in just the first quarter. However, the Magpies were not done and managed to tie the match coming into the final quarter. But as the final buzzer drew closer, the Vikings ran in 21 points in the last 5 minutes to run home winners and take home the Premier 1 Men's Championship.
It means a lot for this team. We've had a number of seasons where we've won one and then the next season we haven't bounced back and won the next one. And it's just good for the boys to back it up a second year in a row and show that, yeah, they are the best in the conference.
It's a great feeling. They're a great group of guys and we really stuck through it all season. Had a few ups and downs, but we came good when it mattered.
In the women's competition, it was the Western Creek Woden Dodgers who overcame a late comeback from the Norths to take out the women's Premier 1 competition 72-66. The Dodgers came out firing in the first quarter, recording 10 points in just 5 minutes. At halftime, the Dodgers had built a 15-point lead, but the Norths were about to show the reason why they made the grand final. With only 5 minutes left, Norths had reduced the gap to just 4 points, but the Dodgers were just too experienced, holding off the Norths and going home champions for 2016.
A lot of us have been playing since juniors, and it's just really great. We're like a big family together, so it's lovely winning with everyone.
James Coman, NowUC News.
Suspended coffee has become popular around the world. However, most people don't know that the initiative already runs here in Canberra. The aim of the initiative is to provide the less fortunate with a warm beverage, but the cause gives so much more. Chelsea Mitchell reports.
For most Canberrans, purchasing a coffee is just a part of their daily routine. But for some, a simple coffee is out of reach. Cafe owner Jessica Klobuchar joined the Suspended Coffee Initiative in January this year, encouraging her patrons to buy a coffee for someone in need.
It helps to sort of extinguish the stigma that's around homelessness in Canberra. We have quite a large population of homeless people here, and being in the centre of the city, we see a lot of people begging on the side of the street, and people just walk past them and don't really give a second thought to who they are, where they come from, or anything, any backstory.
Jess wants to play her part in bringing awareness to the initiative and help others in need.
I think it helps us to catalyse the conversation, get us talking about it a little bit more.
It's an initiative that many of our customers are enthusiastic about supporting.
But also it provides an opportunity for connection. And I think one of the things that, particularly for those who are homeless or isolated, actually having a chance and a vehicle to connect with people is important. As humans, we're wired for connection, and I think that's a really important element that people don't recognise.
The Suspended Coffee program provides something more important than a warm beverage.
When you come here, we're all people. And it doesn't matter where we live and how we live, and we'll all say hello and have a smile and an opportunity for a conversation.
Canberrans are encouraged to join the initiative.
And if you're going to buy one, why not buy one for someone else? Because you get that feeling of gifting, you get that feeling that you're part of something bigger.
I'm Chelsea Mitchell from NowUC News.
And that's all we have time for today. I'm Jack Howard.
And I'm Matt Nicoletti. Thank you for watching.